system.
How you doing?
Getting beat up by 9 guys in Syracuse, to me, there's not a whole lot of shame in.
This is the Heel to the Face podcast with your hosts, Jared Wicks and Brandon Icebreaker Clements. Tweet us using the handle at Heel to the Face.
Woo! 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 Woo!
The bell is rung, so let's step in the ring with your hosts, Brandon and Jared.
This is the Heel to the Face podcast. That's Brandon Icebreaker Clements. You can find him on Twitter at Icebreaker21. Myself, Jared. Just Jared Wicks. That's where you can find me on Twitter. But most importantly, follow the program at Heel to the Face on Twitter. You get our tweets of the week, Twitter question of the week, the whole 9 yards, as we are just about a week away from the Evolution pay-per-view. That one is not in doubt. That one is a for sure pay-per-view that is coming up on the horizon. But without any wait, let's get this week's edition of the show underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening
with a 20-minute time limit.
So SmackDown 1000 this week, it's what SmackDown 900. So I went to SmackDown 900 in Scranton, Pennsylvania a couple years ago. 100 episodes ago. So that's 2 years ago, right?
A little over 2 years,
about
yeah.
50 episodes a year.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. It was about this time. I think it was in September or October.
Yeah.
I can actually tell you, I know exactly, not exactly, but I remember it was whenever Raw versus SmackDown, I think it might have been Survivor Series time, because that's, when like all the women were wearing Raw shirts, came out and attacked all the women wearing SmackDown shirts, that kind of nonsense.
I remember that.
But, so SmackDown 1000 this past week, what'd you make of the show? I liked, the main event was all right. I didn't care. What's with the Undertaker? He just, do you get something out of that at home? Him just coming out and saying like a thing?
Yeah, that was an odd way of bringing him in. Like, you hype him up all night and he comes in. The whole entrance took longer than what he had to say. It was literally like, hey, rest in peace. I'm like, that's it? And the problem I had with not just the Undertaker's thing, but with the show as a whole, it was more talk show than actual like wrestling.
That's what I kind of figured, though, right? It's SmackDown 1000.
Yeah, but you got to have some you got to have some more matches. I know it's only a 2-hour show, but why does it have to be 3/4 of it just talking? Like, if they had, I enjoyed the cutting edge. That was good. But watching Evolution, first time on SmackDown, it was just them just shooting the shit and just talking. It was funny though. They were like bashing each other a little bit though. I'm waiting for that Batista Triple H thing, man. I think they're laying it on pretty thick. I think Batista's coming back.
Yeah, you think that's going to happen? Batista versus Triple H? You think
I
that's
do.
something?
I do. Like, why would you guys say it and then like it was like awkward? Like, it was like Triple H got really awkward.
It's like just something. I think it's because it at least put more substance in that than what you got with the Undertaker.
Well, it did have. Yeah, the Undertaker thing just had no substance at all. Honestly. What did you make of, back to Evolution? What did you think of Randy Orton kind of like, calling everybody out, like in his group? Like, what did you think about that? That was kind of funny. He was just like, he was just like pretty much like, yeah, I'm like the real guy, like the lead guy of this team after all these years. I'm the guy who's here every week.
That's Randy Orton though. That's his thing.
What was great? I love the 10,000 comment by Ric Flair, and like everybody in the audience knows exactly what he means by that, and like you could see everybody from Evolution just cheesing out because as if you're not well aware, if you listen to this podcast, you probably know that Ric Flair his numbers with in the female area is really high. So do we really believe it's 10,000? Not to get too far off on that, but that's a big number. That's a
lot.
That's like 3 a day for like a long time. I'm just saying in anything, the Nature Boy, nothing would surprise me, because he is Nate. Nate has lived a very lavish lifestyle. Now he's in rap videos now, so he's really.
That's a lot. That's the population of a town.
I know, but it's Ric Flair. That's now. Most guys, if you said that, you're like, yeah, sure, yeah, okay. But Ric Flair, Ric Flair to me, he's, wheeling and dealing, man. Limousine riding, man. Kiss stealing. That was his thing. So it doesn't surprise me. And I love the next part though. I couldn't remember if it was was it Batista or Triple H? I think it was Batista. He said, "Rick, keep it in your pants."
Yeah, it was Batista.
that was good too.
That was Batista.
That was, I mean, out of the non-wrestling standpoint, that was to me that was the highlight of the show.
I think to me that was the highlight of SmackDown 1000. I was pretty surprised Rey Mysterio won. I didn't think that he wasn't coming back, that it was a one-off thing. But I guess, I mean, now it's for sure. Obviously, he's going to be in the next Battle Royal-ish.
Well, you didn't think he was going to win?
You know, I wasn't sure because of the fact I know they're bringing him back, but I didn't know if they were, pretty much signing him on for Crown Jewel, essentially.
To me, I thought it was a foregone conclusion. Like, if Rey Mysterio is making this big return, there's no way he's losing. To me, that's how I looked at it. Like, all right.
I mean, that's true. I didn't really see that he'd be losing, per se. I mean, now that's a good point you make, but I wasn't for sure that this was going to be something he was going to follow up on.
True. I get what you're saying.
I didn't know that he was going to become like, it's kind of like, Evolution's coming back for SmackDown 1000 and they'll be in a number one contender match for the world title. You're like, okay, I don't think, they're going to sign on for that much kind of stuff. Like you're talking Batista, Triple H right now. Could it happen? Could they fight? We don't know.
I think it will.
But Batista didn't just sign a contract for like the next pay-per-view. It's not Batista versus Triple H kind of thing. And that's what we got with Rey Mysterio. It's like Rey Mysterio's back. Oh, and after SmackDown's over, like he's back.
Well, with the thing with Batista, it's more of what do they call it? Like an appearance fee, essentially. They just paid him to show up and talk for a few minutes.
With The Undertaker, I feel we see him enough now that was really not worth it. Like at Raw 25 when he pulled that crap, I felt like that wasn't really worth it then. But now that we just saw him on Raw last week and we saw him at the pay-per-view in Australia, it's like, why are you paying him money to come out and say this?
I mean, good for him. He says rest in peace. He says 3 words and he's making bucks.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He did that at Raw 25.
I know. It's just like, hey, look at Brock Lesnar. He shows up a half handful of times a year and he makes a ton of bucks. Hey, you can't hate him. I mean, you can hate him, but you can't knock the hustle, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know why he would wrestle. He should just come out and make appearances.
If I said 3 words, if I had to like show up once a week, say 3 words and make a ton of money, I'm in. I'll do it the rest of my life. That's fine.
So anything happened on Raw that was noteworthy for you? Back to you're looking at your notes shows no.
No, I mean it was. I mean I'm just trying to look back at the show. It was pretty forgettable. Yeah, I mean I'm just looking it over. Honestly, it was a forgettable show. I wasn't. I mean the focus this week was on SmackDown 1000, anyways. I think WWE was putting more of their marbles into that than on the right. I mean I can't say creative side, but I don't think they were. I think they were kind of like throwing away Raw this week, to be honest with you. I mean, we saw a couple little things. I mean, I'll be honest. The best thing, as I'm looking over my notes and just kind of remembering the night, I really enjoyed the Ronda Rousey and Bella stuff. That was cool. That was pretty good.
That was a highlight, I think, of Monday Night Raw was the Rousey Nikki Bella feud thing.
And here's the best part: they're taking it on social media too, which is great.
I did not see that, but
oh yeah,
I guess obviously. So it looks like this is going to be the main event of Evolution. It's Nikki Bella for the world's belt. Do you feel that that's the best representation for this all-women's event?
Say that again.
So Nikki Bella, Ronda Rousey for the belt. Nikki Bella for the belt, essentially. And being the main event of the pay-per-view. Do you think that's the best representation?
No, I don't. I don't think it is. Not to put any slight on, I would say more so Nikki Bella than I would say Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's right. But Nikki Bella and Brie are divas.
Yes,
they're not really wrestlers. I'm not saying that in a bad way. They've done a lot for the business, and that's not a slight on them by any means. But to me, they're divas. They're from the old generation, the previous generation.
They came in the company before any of this stuff started. And to be honest with you, from what I saw from Nikki Bella and Brie Bella, they weren't the ones breaking down the doors to make this happen. They were pretty content with how it was going.
Well, yeah, because they're not that great of wrestlers.
Yeah, they weren't sitting here being like, man, I hope Sasha Banks and Bayley come in and change this around. They seemed like they were perfectly fine with the landscape of WWE prior to the women's evolution.
I will say this. I think somebody that's enjoying it, and I think it's getting a little extra kick out of it, is Natalya. I think this has been great for her because Natalya's not like, she was in the wrong generation. Like she's been part of it for 15 years. She was in the Divas thing, and she's the best wrestler. And I would still put her up there as one of the top female wrestlers in the business. She is technically sound. I mean, you can't come from the Hart Dungeon and not be a good wrestler. It's just how it goes.
Well, I mean, you can't come from that family and not like wrestling as a pure standpoint.
Yeah, I mean and that's the thing too. Like I love what they're doing with her and Ronda is like they're good. They're not only on TV are they good friends, but they really are good friends. Like I watch Total Divas, and I'll tell you right now, you can see the true friendship between them, and I think it carries over because I think the Natalya Ronda Rousey thing, I think it works. I think it's good. It's kind of like veteran, newcomer. I like it. I think it's a good mix.
If I was Natalya, though, to be honest with you, I would hate Nikki Bella.
Oh,
Because of
I
the
would
fact
too.
that things like this happen, where she's going to be main eventing this pay-per-view against Ronda Rousey, and she's really got no business to be doing that.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, it should be somebody like Natalya. She's paid her dues for many, many years. I know the Bellas have been around for a long time, but in all the years they've been in the business, and they still can't put on an A+ wrestling match, it says a lot.
She just got Bria Bella just hurt somebody the other day. I mean, it was a couple weeks ago now, but still.
Yeah, here's the thing. I say this half kidding, but I call them the botch twins because they botch. And I have to say this, and Ronda Rousey is absolutely right. I love that she called them both out for kind of using the similar moveset to their, I should say, one's that's married and then John Cena's ex.
Yes.
That was I thought that was great. And I love the part where Ronda said the only door you're trying to knock down was the John Cena's bedroom. I was like,
Yeah.
woo! I was like, man, this is getting a little heavy. I'm sitting there watching that. I'm like, ooh, that might have crossed a little bit there. I'm like, but what in reality, do we really think Ronda Rousey is going to lose to Nikki Bella? No.
No, absolutely not. I don't think she's going to lose. In fact, I don't think whoever Ronda Rousey would face, she would lose, just for the fact that, again, you're trying to go off the show with the best representation. I couldn't imagine them going off this women's pay-per-view. I mean, going off this women's pay-per-view with Nikki Bella becoming the champion would be the same as when they tried to take women seriously at that 25th anniversary Battle Royal at WrestleMania 25, and Santino Marella and Drag won it. You're like, like you're celebrating women, but at the end it's some guy and it's a big joke.
It's kind of, it's to
so
me,
Nikki Bella being like holding the belt as WWE Women's Evolution pay-per-view goes off the air is like, you just ruined what this was all for.
No, I have to ask you. I know since we're on the topic of this evolution coming up, so to speak, a lot of evolution going on lately. Between the name coming back for a little, hanging out for a little bit, and then the pay-per-view coming up. What do you make of this pay-per-view coming up? Are you still like, what, I'm ready to watch it? Or are you gonna kind of like, I'll watch it later?
I'm excited about it. I think is when it got announced. I think it helps that it's on a Sunday. It's on a Sunday, so I'm gonna watch it. I'll watch it like I do a traditional pay-per-view.
Okay.
It's because it's not on Saturday night or Saturday morning or Friday morning or any of that nonsense. It's on
if it's a Friday night show, you're not watching it.
Yeah, it's on a traditional time, so I'm gonna watch it, just like I would any other pay-per-view. I don't really know how excited I guess I am for the event. I'm not excited for it like it would be Royal Rumble or any of those events. If I had to watch one event live, and couldn't watch one, had to pick one or the other, I'd pick Crown Jewel.
Yeah, if it happens.
No knock on the women.
No,
Believe me, I'm a
I
women's
know.
person. I'm the only person in this room that's been to a women's basketball game, and that's like 100 times probably you. You've gone to what, 0 in your life?
Yeah, I can't say I have.
And I've been to both college and professional.
Well, to your point, I do work the majority of the games here at the local radio station. I'm just saying.
I'm not just talking about local colleges. I'm saying I've been to professional women's basketball as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm not knocking on the women, and believe me, I like the women's matches a lot.
I support the women's movement,
absolutely. Just feel that having this whole pay-per-view for the women, there's a lot of crap on the pay-per-view. There's a lot of filler battle royals, tag team matches, that kind of thing. That I wouldn't be interested in the guys.
I feel like it's just being thrown together.
I mean, if this was a guys event, I wouldn't be excited. If it was the guys title on the line, which is always on the line, the WWE Championship's on the line every pay. So it's AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal, because that's not a big named match, and Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella isn't a big name. That's the thing. We're not getting like a once in a lifetime WrestleMania women's match. We're just getting a women's title match. Just just one they would throw out there just, for the in-between pay-per-views. So it would be the equivalent of seeing AJ Styles versus, I don't know, Jeff Hardy or something. You know what I mean? It'd be like, okay, well, they can't all be WrestleMania main events. Sometimes AJ Styles got to defend it against some of the lower guys to make it so the ones against Brock Lesnar matter. So it'd be like the women's title's on the line, and it's AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy, and then the other matches are tag team match. Two old, DX versus, I don't know, Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. That's what we're getting in the women's comparison, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like they're just throwing things together. That's the way I
we're
look
just
at
getting
it.
some battle royals. We're getting some mixed tag matches. Old guys versus new guys. It's not like this is an all Hell in the Cell hardcore pay per view going on here.
I have to ask you, the kind of transition away from the Evolution pay per view, back to Raw. What were your thoughts? What are your thoughts right now on this whole Shield thing with like Dean Ambrose kind of? I don't know. It seems like is this a heel turn?
No, I don't think it's a heel turn. I think it's a way for them to just milk this, keep it fresh. That's what I think it is. I'm not saying I never see Dean Ambrose turning. I don't see it happening really.
You think they're just going to
in the near future?
They're kind of like, it kind of seemed like he was like disconnected to them.
I feel like they're trying to like really push that though. It's not like it's subtle. They're really trying to push it, and that's what makes me feel like it's not.
Well, he didn't like the fact being called lunatic either, which was kind of funny because Seth was like, "Hey, he's on lunatic time. What'd you call me?" It's kind of how it was. It's like I'm like, wait a second, you're known as the lunatic fringe. Like, why is the whole lunatic thing? Why is that bothering you all of a sudden? I'm just curious.
Trying to make something out of nothing to kill time because look what we saw for the main event. We saw like the same match we just saw at the pay-per-view. The Shield versus Braun's, like a 6-man tag. It's just trying to milk that out.
But I will say though, a lot of dissension between Ziggler, Braun Strowman, and McIntyre. That was
was kind of the heel turn at the end of the night to kind of change it off on us a little bit. I don't think they're going to kill the Shield thing just yet. With Dean Ambrose, I think they'll keep dissension in there, but this was kind of a way to cool that down for the time being, so they can keep it going. For more weeks.
You think this?
They don't have a pay-per-view next week.
You think this whole Drew, Braun, and Ziggler thing? You think this is kind of? You think it's done? Do you think they're going to be still a unit? Because to me, it looked like McIntyre is like, the hell with them. I'm out of here.
I see McIntyre versus Ziggler maybe doing something in the near future. Not Braun Strowman so much. I feel Braun Strowman is invested in the world title match, and I don't feel that it's going to be like one-on-one Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre at a pay-per-view. That would be a snooze fest.
Yeah, I don't. I could see it. I could see it on Raw this coming week.
Maybe
that's a possibility. You could see like, where is he? You see Braun like coming in. Drew, you're gonna get these hands. Something like that, and then he goes. Then he goes up to, Constable Corbin and says, I want a match with Drew McIntyre, which it's a possibility. I think it's going to happen on Monday night. Something's going to happen.
So we've been burying the real lead. How could we not? This is the one story all week that has made news outside of WWE. This is actually pretty good because I'm kind of in the transition right now of introducing someone to WWE, and stories like this are good because they show. I guess let me explain myself. This is when you get to a certain age, you feel you have to explain your wrestling fandom. I'm not a comic book guy. I'm not an action movie guy. I don't like Iron Man and all this other stuff. It's not just like my persona that I'm like some 15-year-old kid who loves all that stuff, who loves graphic novels. Wrestling's really my one kind of thing. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm wearing a suit right now. So, it's kind of wrestling is that one thing. And if you don't know I like wrestling, you probably wouldn't even know I liked wrestling because I just don't have that persona all around, So I'm trying to get somebody into wrestling right now. And this whole thing going on with Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia is a good way to do that because it kind of shows that, yes, I like wrestling. Yes, it's an entertainment aspect, but it makes me feel worldly that I can talk about wrestling in a way that's not wrestling related, that's world events related. For example, the whole Crown Jewel controversy has made its way all over the regular national news as this past week because of everything going on in Saudi Arabia, the disappearance of the U.S. journalist who many believe was brutally murdered by the consulate of Saudi Arabia in Istanbul. They've interviewed people and they said, no, we were there on vacation. We had nothing to do with that. Everyone thinks it's like a government hit. And WWE has been pretty quiet. What they've done is they have taken Saudi Arabia's name off of the event. The event, so what we are aware, is still in Saudi Arabia, but you could the tickets. It's no longer on the event list when it comes to purchasing tickets, and it's also not being mentioned as in Saudi Arabia anymore. It's just at Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
you think this is going to go on?
I still do. I still think it's gonna go. I still think it's gonna happen. There's so much money here to be made.
They could lose between $12 and $16 million if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't think Vince is in the market of losing money.
But
I could see. I mean, I could see them because Crown Jewel is so close. I think 2019. I think they should just scrap it.
I feel though right now it matters the most. I feel if they go there now, that they might as well go there in the future. I guess.
See, I don't see it that way. I see it like, hey, a couple more weeks. What? How many weeks we got from Crown Jewel?
I think it's like not. So today we're recording this on a Thursday. It's not tomorrow. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yes. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to last minute, you've already got this thing hyped up and you're just going to say, yeah, we really hyped this up, DX and, Brothers of Destruction. We're just not going to do it now.
I mean, they can move it to another venue.
Where?
They can move it to another country.
The last minute, they're going to sell that many tickets. They're going to lose. You know how much money they're going to lose?
$3 million.
They're going to lose a lot of money. Here's my thing. If this stuff would have came out 6 months ago, I'd say, okay, we're good. We're not, they're not going. This Crown Jewel thing's not going to happen. But when it comes out weeks before the event, they're kind of between a rock and a hard place, unless they want to lose this money, which I don't think they're going to. If I was WWE, you do the show as scheduled, and in 2019, you don't do anything. You're done. Until things are figured out, you stay away from Saudi. That's the way I look at it.
It's a tough situation right now because, like I said, in 2019 it might be fine, but right now it's in the news. So right now it's where it's really a tough situation because of what's going on at the time. So if they do it now, but then they don't do it in 2019, it doesn't matter. People are like, you already went. It doesn't matter if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's a more of a P. I mean, I can't say more of, but either way, they're in a lose-lose situation. They really are. They're in a lose-lose situation no matter what. They're going to take the PR hit one way or the other. So honestly, I think it is a lose-lose for WWE. If it was 6 months ago, they're not doing the show.
Yeah.
I think that's enough time to say, all right, you know what? We're just going to come back. We're going to do it at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Something like that. I'm just throwing a venue out there that can fit, a lot of people. But it's too soon. It's too close. I think it's going to happen. I just don't think 2019. I think Saudi is going to be off the board.
Yeah,
in my
I feel that they've gotten a lot of slack too for what a lot of people are now calling for when they had the Greatest Royal Rumble. A lot of people felt it was a lot of propaganda. How they were promoting the country, in such a positive light. People felt that it was a lot of propaganda at that time, and people kind of looked bad on WWE. And they've talked about it recently, the fact that WWE kind of gave them that. But it's not just WWE. I mean, I think all the politicians in America were trying to give Saudi Arabia the benefit of the doubt and trying to, say, if they are trying to make a difference, if they are trying to better themselves, why would we hold a grudge, if you will? But
yeah,
it's tough right now because they're being Saudi Arabia. They're being the Saudi Arabia that is the reason why, people didn't go there many years ago. And many people thought they changed, but change, I guess, doesn't happen overnight. And WWE needs to learn that change doesn't happen overnight.
True.
So that's going to do it for this segment of the show. When we come back on our podcast formats, it'll be the social media Smackdown of the week. For those who are watching on YouTube, make sure to look out for that video and follow Brandon the Icebreaker Clements on on Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah.
At Icebreaker21. Myself, Jared, at Jared Wicks, and the program at Heel to the Face.